I had some little issues coming online. Hope you can see me. Let's go on. See, one or two issues yesterday. We did a problem. You remember? I'll show you the problem. Okay. This is the problem we did in class. And then I gave you a problem to do at home. Now, uh, this one I think is a degenerate problem, isn't it? We had one, two, three, four. We had one, two, three, four, five, right? So it is a degenerate problem. We cannot have an optimal solution. All right. So I'm going to give you one problem now. Let's not talk about the keep what I give after the problem which I gave you for homework. Keep 2 pages for the optimality test. Today, what I plan to do is give you a problem, and that same problem we will do in 3 different methods. So I'm sure that I'm confident that you can do the problem in all the 3 methods. And then I'll teach you for the same problem, I'll teach you the optimality test. Let me look for a non-degenerate. Okay, now class, I would like you to draw, like I told you yesterday, draw the same, it has the same this thing, 3 sources and 4 distribution centers. Could you draw, please? Sources are S1, S2, S3. Distribution centers are D1, D2, D3, D4. I'm drawing 2 so that we can do the problem. Okay, sources. Sources is the first heading, and under this heading you have S1, S2, S3, S4. Sorry, S3. S1, S2, S3, and then you have the requirement. Okay, I hope you're done. Okay, next we have D1, D2, D3, D4. D1, please draw D2, D3, and D4. All right, and last we have the supply. Okay. Wait a bit, I want to. Wait, no, let's finish this first. Now I'll give you the numbers. Be ready. Okay. The numbers are, I'm dictating column 1. The numbers are 14, 35, once again 35, and last 4. In D2 you have 25, once again 25, 3, and 7. In D3 you have 45, 35, 65, and 6. In D4 you have 5, 55, 15, 13. And in supply you have 6. You know where to write so that you can do the allotment also. 6, 8, 16, and for both grand total is 30. Alright? Okay, there we go. Now I want to do this problem by 3 methods. So you can choose to use pencil, black pen, blue pen, or you can do the problem again. I'm thinking of going and using pencil and eraser. Wait a minute, I'll be back. Mama, pencil and rubber विषय. Pencil ಲೈನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆರಾಮಾಗಿ ವಿಷಯ. Sorry, I don't think it's a feasible thing to use a pencil. I would rather draw it again. Okay, so here we are. I repeat, I'll show you the problem. Yeah. Yeah, here it is. S1. Yeah. S1, S2, S3, and the requirement. Heading is sources. You have D1, D2, D3, D4, and you have supply. Okay, all the numbers. If anybody has not copied, please copy them. Ready? Now the first way we are going to do it is with the northwest corner rule. Now for the problem, what you have to write is, are you all ready? Okay. We are solving doing the northwest corner rule. Shall we begin? Now, according to the northwest corner rule, we take S1 D1, or the top left corner first. S1 D1. Now look at S1 D1. The supply, S1 has 6 supply. S1 has supply of 6. S1 has supply of 6, and D1 has requirement of 4. So we will allot here. So S1 to D1 goes 4 units, and D1 becomes dummy. No requirement left. Supply, cancel 6. 6 minus 4 is 2. Alright? You can see this. 6 minus 2. One allotment done. Next allotment. Since we have 2 left in S1, we have to complete that row. So D2 has 7. Check your book. D2 has 7. So we will allot the remaining supply of S1 to D2. So supply S1 becomes 0. D2 requirement becomes 5. 7 minus 2. And then we allot 2 from S1 to D2. We allot 2. Alright, so S1 has become dummy for us, so has D1. You can make a new matrix with D2, D3, D4 and S2, S3, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to continue. Okay, now we come to the next row. In the next row, we have S2 with a supply of 8. D1 does not require anymore, so we go to S2. From S2 we supply to D2, and we have in D2 we have only 5 left requirement, so we give from S2 to D2 5. The D2 5 cancels and becomes 0. S2 supply becomes 8 minus 5, 3. So this is what I've done. So D2 becomes dummy, and S2 has 3. Alright, we go on and we give, so you see in D3 you have 6, D3 wants 6, S2 has 3, so S2 to D3 we give the remaining 3. So S2 to D3, we give 3. S2 supply becomes 0. D3 requirement becomes 3. Is that clear, everyone? Alright. So we have S1 dummy, S2 dummy because there is no supply left, D1 dummy, D2 dummy. We attack the S3, and first we have to do is from S3 we give to D3. So from S3 we give to D3 3 because D3 has only a requirement of 3. So the requirement of D3 becomes 3 minus 3, 0. And 16, S3, requirement of S3 of 16 becomes 16 minus 3, 13. Now the last allotment is S3 to D4. D4 requires 13, cancel it, make it 0. Allot S3 to D4, 13. And S3, cancel off 13 and get 0. So the allotment is over. Allotment is over. That clear? I have forgotten to do the grand total of 30. I think we will do that now. We will go by the allotments. The first, follow me carefully. The first one allotment was S1 to D1. It was 4 units. So cancel off 30 and make it 26. Next was 2 units. Cancel 26. The second allotment was S1 to D2. So 26 minus 2, 24. Third allotment was S2 to D2, 5 units. Make 24, 19. Alright. Fourth allotment was 3 units, S2 to D3. Make 19, 16. Yeah. Now, fifth allotment was 3. Make 16, 13. And the last allotment was 13. Cancel off 13 and make it 0. So you have, for the grand total, this is what you have. Sorry. Okay, 30 becomes 26, 26 becomes 24, 24 becomes 19, 19 becomes 16, 16 becomes 13, 13 becomes 0. Is that okay? Okay, now we finish this. Count. We have three rows, S1, S2, S3, and we have 4 columns, D1, D2, D3, D4. So m plus n minus 1, that is 4, 3 plus 4, whatever, n is columns, I think. We can call it R plus C if you like. So 3 plus 4 minus 1 is 6. And the allotment we have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a non-degenerate problem. So we can do the test of optimality. Before we do the test of optimality, I would like you to write this problem once again so that we can do it in the row minima way. Alright? Would you like to do the transportation cost first? Let's do the transportation cost of this one. Everyone, we'll do the transportation cost. Get ready. Okay, as I told you yesterday, the first column here would be from, write down, column you will require 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. From, next column is 2, third column is units, fourth column is rate, and the last column is cost. Please don't forget to write rupees. Cost in rupees. Right? Here we go. So we have, follow me carefully, we have S1, we have the first allotment is number 1, S1 to D1, 4 units at the rate of 14. So what is 14 into 4? If you want, you can write it again 14 at the rate of 4, or you can straight away multiply. 56. Right? Next. Second, S1 to D2, 2 units at the rate of 25. So 25 into 2, 50 rupees. The third one is S2 to D2, 5 units at the rate of 25. 25 into 5 is 125. Now the fourth allotment is S3 to D3, 3 units at the rate of 65. Multiply 195. The fifth just hold on. The first allotment is S1 to D1, 4 units at the rate of 14, correct? S1 to D2, 2 units at the rate of 25. The third one is S2 to D2, 5 at the rate of 25. The fourth one is S3 to D3, isn't it? Oh my god, have I taken the wrong problem? 1 minute. S1 to D1, S1 to D2, S2 to D2, S2 to D3. Yeah, it's right. 4, 2, 5, 3, 3, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is it a degenerate problem? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 2, 5, 3, 3 again, and 13. S3 to D3. And 1 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. S1 to D1, S1 to D2, S2 to D2, S2 to D3. Sorry, the fourth one is S2 to D3, 3 at the rate of 35. Plus, I made a mistake, 3 at the rate of 35, that is 105. The fifth one is S3 to D3, 3 at the rate of 65, 195. Sixth one is S3 to D4, 13 at the rate of 15. Yes, you again have 195, and total it, please. 726. Sorry about my faux pas. Okay. we have here S1 to D1, 4 units at the rate of 14.56 rupees. S1 to D2, 2 units at the rate of 25.50. S2 to D2, 5 units at the rate of 25.125. Fourth one is S2 to D3, 3 at the rate of 35.105. The fifth one is S3 to D3, 3 at the rate of 65.195. And the last one, sixth one is S3 to D4, 13 at the rate of 50.195. So your answer is rupees 726. Now we'll hold on. I would like to you to do the problem again. Write on the paper again so that we can do the same problem in a different method. Please write, everybody. Sources, S1, S2, S3 and requirement. Then you have distribution centers. Yeah, D1, D2, D3, D4 and you have supply. Alright, please write the numbers. Here we are. I'm dictating numbers D1, 14, 35, 35 and 4. Then you have 25, 25, 3 and 7. You have 45, 35, 65 and 6. You have 5, 55, 15 and 13. We'll check it again. 14, 35, 35 and 4. 25, 25, 3 and 7. 45, 35, 65 and 6. 5, 55, 15, 13. Supply, we have 6, 8, 16 and a total of 30. Now class, we will do it in the second method. The second method is row minima method. How do we do the row minima method? In the row minima method, you have to check which is the lowest cost. As I told you, the numbers that you get here, 14, 25, 45 and 5, these are the costs. S1 to D1 takes 14 rupees, traveling cost, transit cost. S1 to D2 transit cost is 25. If we go into S2 into D3 is 35, or D2 and S3 to D2 is 3, D4, S2 to D4 is 55. This is what it means. So let us take like this. Row, this is the row. We will take the first row, obviously. Look at the numbers, 14, 25, 45 and 5. So 5 being the least. We will allot, how much does this one D4 require? It requires 13. It requires 13. And how much does S1 have? 6. So the 6 units we will give to D4. Please start. S1 to D4, 6 units. S1 becomes 0 and D4 requires not 13, 13 minus 6, 7. This is what is done. Alright, everybody? Okay. Yes. Now supply S1 is exhausted. We do not have any more in the first row. So naturally we go to the second row. In the second row you have 8 supply from S2, and we look at the numbers, the costs. The costs are 35, 25, 35 and 55. We take 25, which is the least. So we have to give from S2 to D2 7 units. D2 requires 7. Just watch. This is the least one. So we have to give to D2. It requires 7. And we have 8 here. So out of this 8, 7 we give to 25. Come on, do it. And D2 requires nothing. 0. 7. 8 minus 7 is 1. So we have D2 as dummy along with S1. If necessary, when I do it in class, we can redo the matrix eliminating S1 and D2. But we will continue here as it is now. So we still have in S1 one supply. If you look at it in S2, S2D1, if that is the column you are looking at, there is 35. And in D3, again, it is 35. You may be which one to do, we'll take the first one. So we will give S2D1 1 unit, which is left. So S2 has 0 supply, and D1 becomes, a requirement becomes 4 minus 1, 3. Alright, so since it is a row minima method, we have eliminated the rows. So here we have 3 left. Is that clear? Let's go on. The 2 rows have become dummy. We go to S3. Look at S3. You have 35. You have 35. You have 3. You have 65. And you have 15. Take the least one, 3. But D2 has nothing left. It has no more requirement. The next one is 15. Next lowest is 15. So D4 requires 7. And in S3 we have 16. Cut off the 7, make it 0. S3 to D4 we give 7. So in 16 minus 7 becomes 9. Alright, I'll show you what I've done. Okay, so you have D2 and D4 with no requirement. Alright, okay, we'll go ahead. With 3 is over, the least in S3 row is 3, but D2, which corresponds to 3, has 0 requirement. So we went and we allotted it to D4, which is the next lowest, 15. So D4 has nothing left. The next lowest will be 35, that is S3 to D1. We'll go there. The requirement left of D1 is 3. So there we are. S3 to D1, we give 3. So D1 requirement becomes 0. And at the end, S3, the supply becomes 9 minus 3, 6. 9 minus 3, 6. Now what we have left is D3 requires 6. S3 has supply 6. Naturally, we give the last 6 there. S3 supply is 0 and S3 to D3 allotment is 6, D3 0. We have 6 allotments. Again, it's a non-degenerate problem. Okay. Now, yes, I've forgotten to do that 30. We will do it again. The first allotment was 6, so 30 minus 6 becomes 24. Next allotment, I think, was, 7. 7. So 24 minus 7 is 17. Next allotment was 1. 17 minus 1 is 16. Next allotment was 3. 16 minus 3 is 13. And the last allotment, no, before that it was 7. Wait guys, 17 minus 7 it was 10. Okay. Wait. The first allotment was 6, so you have 24. Next allotment was 7, so you have 17, that's right. Next allotment was 1, so you have 16. And the next allotment minimum was how much? 15. So 16 minus 7, 16 minus 7 is 9. And then you have 3, 6, and the last was 0. Okay, 30 becomes 24. See that? 24 becomes 17, 17 becomes 16, 16 becomes 9, 9 becomes 6, and 6 becomes 0. Okay? Okay. Now, transportation cost, would you like to do? You can do it later. Yeah? And tell me whether you get the same thing. Now, I would like, transportation cost is not a big deal. You can do it, I'm sure. So, now, I would like to do the same problem. I would like you to, this is row minima. Please write, the method is row minima. M-I-N-I-M-A. Now, I'm going to do the same problem in column minima method. Please write the same problem again. Column minima method. Right? Now, please write again sources. Please copy. You'll get S1, S2, S3, and you have requirement. Similarly, you have D1, D2, D3, D4, and you have supply. Alright? Rule your lines. Please rule your lines, otherwise the numbers will be confusing later. Give you time for the lines. Excuse me, let's have some water. Done? Shall we begin? Now we go through column minima method. I will tell you the numbers. D1 is 14, 35, 35 again, and 4. D2 you have 25, 25, 3, and 7. D3 you have 45, 35, 65, and you have 6. D4 you have 5, 5, 55, 15, and you have 13, and supply is 6, 8, 16 with a total of 30. Are you ready, class? Now we are doing the column minima method. The column minima method means you have to take the lowest in the column, lowest cost in the column. Watch this. I am naturally attacking D1. You have the 14, you have 35, and you have 35. 4 is the requirement. Okay, 14, 35, 35. Naturally, 14 is our target. So we have requirement of 4. We have a supply of 6. So all this 4 we will allot to D1. So S1, D1, 4. Alright. D1 requirement becomes 0. So S1 supply 6 minus 4 is 2. We have D1 with no requirement. We have D1 with no requirement, and we still have a supply of 2. But please remember, we are doing the column minima method. So we look at the second column now. We have 25, the costs are in D2, 25, 25 and 3. Naturally, we go for 3. So S3 to D2 we have to give 7 because requirement of D2 is 7. We have a supply of 16, so there we go. S3 to D2, I'm giving 7. So 16 minus 7 becomes 9. And column 2 has no more requirements. Shall we proceed? Look at D3. D3 has costs 45, 35 and 65. The least is 35. So S2 to D3 we will give 6 because the requirement of D3 is 6 and we already have a supply there. So S2 to D3 we give 6 units. S2 to D3 6 units. Everybody 6 units. So when you give 6 units here, D3 has a requirement of 0. And then S2 8 minus 6 you have 2. So this is how it looks now. Imagine this is your board. So we have no requirement in D1, D2, D3 and we have a requirement of 13 in D4. The least cost is 5. So S1 to D4 we give 2 units because S1 has 2 supply. So here we go. We give 2 units here. Supply of S1 becomes 0. The next one is 5, 55 and 15. So the next one is S3 to D4. You give 9 units because S3 has 9 left. Once again, when you do S1 to D4, you cancel 13 and make it 11. Now 9 and 11 minus 9, you have 2. S3 supply becomes 0. This 2 you give to S2 from S2 to D4 because S2 has 2 supply left. We get 0, 2. And D4 requirement becomes 0. Once again, I've forgotten to do the grand total. So we will do it now. The first one was 4. So 30 minus 4 is 26. Please do the grand total. 30 minus 4 is 26. Next allotment was 7. 26 minus 7 is 19. Next allotment was 6. So 19 minus 6 is 13. Alright. Next allotment was 2. 13 minus 2 is 11. Next allotment was 9. So 11 minus 9 is 2. And the last allotment was 2. So here we have the, please check this. I think I should show you the whole thing. Is that better? Everyone can see? Yeah. So we have done it. Let us count the allotments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 4 plus 3 minus 1 is 6. Allotment is 6. It's a non-degenerate problem. So I have taught you now northwest corner rule yesterday, and we have done it today as well. The same problem we did row minima method and we did the column minima method. For all the methods, for the first method, I have already done the transportation cost for you. For the row minimum method and the column minima method, I expect you to do the transportation cost and tell me whether the transportation cost is the same or not. Alright, I would like to see some pictures, at least of two of you that you can WhatsApp me, like how Pawan WhatsApp me yesterday. Right? Not endure this stuff. Alright, so there we are. And then now we will do the same problem with the minimum cost, least cost method. Please rule the same problem. I want to do the same problem, no point in doing another problem. We'll do the same problem in the least cost method. Please rule, please write the same again. Least cost method. Initial, basic, feasible solution in the least cost method. Write down sources, S1, S2, S3, and you have a requirement. Then you have B1, B2, B3, B4, and supply. I'm doing with you because I want to know how much time you require. Should be about the same time as me, isn't it? So you have, let's do it. Okay, D1 is 14, 35, once again 35, requirement 4. D2 is 25, 25, 3, requirement is 7, 45, D3 is 45, 35, 65, write quickly, 6, and D4 is 5, 55, 15, and 13. So supply is 6, 8, 16, and 30. It's a balanced problem because supply and requirement is the same. Alright. I hope you all are ready. Now I want to do in the least cost method. The least cost method means watch all the costs in the entire matrix, and we will use the least smallest number. Please see in first row, smallest number is 5. Second row, they are all big. Third row, 3. So the least cost we had here is number 3, and this D2 requires 7, S3 has 16, so we allot here 7 allocation is done to S3 to D2. The first allocation we do is S3 to D2, 7, cancel 7 and put 0. 16 minus 7 is 9. Grand total 30 minus 7 is 23. Everybody clear? Please watch. Alright. Which do you think I should do next? The next lowest is 5, and we have a requirement of 13 in D4. S1 to D4 we have to give 6 because S1 has supply of 6, and we will exhaust the supply of S1. So S1 to D4 is 6. 6, the supply, cancel off supply and give 0. 13 minus 6 is 7. Grand total 23 minus 6 is 17. Okay, this is what we need to do. Alright, supply of S1 is exhausted. Now look at the other. You have the next least is 14. Next least is 14. Anything else? No. 14. Now 14, there is no supply. There is no supply. Though there is a requirement for, there is no supply in this row at all. So we go to the next one, that is 15. There is a supply of 9. There is a requirement of 7. So we'll give 7 here. S3 to D4, we give 7. So D4 requirement becomes 0. S3 supply becomes 9 minus 7 is equal to 2. Alright. Now the next least will be 25, 25 and 25. But for this one you have 0. So naturally we will go into this 25. This 25, the requirement is already 0. Though there is a supply 8 here, we cannot use this. So the next lowest will be 35. We will naturally take the first 35, this one. There is a supply of 8 and a requirement of 4. So we'll give 4 here. S2 to D1, give 4 units. 8 minus 4 is 4 for supply S2. Everyone? Okay. Where have I stopped? 7. Yeah. I think in the grand total, you get 17 minus 7, 10. Yeah. Now, we have done, the last allotment was 4. Now we look at the other 35. The other 35, that is, wait. We cannot use 25, so we went to this 35. Right? Because 0, 25, 0. So we went to this 25. This 25, there is no requirement. So naturally we go to 35. 35, there are two 35s. We'll take the first one, D1 first. So both is the 35, no? Whether we give here from S2 to D1 or S2 to D3, it's the same thing. So we'll give here. We got 4 and D1 requirement is 0, D2 requirement is 0. Now we come to this 35. There is a force supply here and a requirement of 6. We give 4 units here. S2 to D3, we give 4 units. D3 requires 2. S2 supply becomes 0. Okay. This grand total I have forgotten to do. You can do it. It's not a big issue. I don't want to. You do it. Alright? I'd like you to do it. It's not a really big deal. Alright? Now we have no D1, D2 and D4, no requirement. Supply S1 and S2, no supply. S3 we have supply units 2. Similarly for D3 the requirement is 2. So S3 to D3 we give 2 units. Alright, do the grand total yourselves. I haven't done it. Yeah, it may be a mistake also what I've done, so just be careful and do it. And as per the allotments, and also do the transportation cost. Shall I teach you the optimality test today or tomorrow? Is it too much? Okay, I'll give you the how to do the optimality test. It is better. For this problem, since we have done the same problem in different methods, you can do the once itself. Okay, you do the optimality test once. Now, see, for this you have to rule again a column 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, do 6, it's better. 6 columns where you write sources, you write from. Okay, and second column you write number 1, column 1 minute. Column 1 heading will be from. Column 2 heading will be number 1. Next column heading will be 2, followed by 3 and 4. And last, u to the base I. 1 minute, I will show you. I will write and show. See, class, where you have been writing sources, you write from. Then you write 1, 2, 3. And where you are writing the requirement, you write v to the base j. Now, where you have been writing supply, you write capital U or big, write it big. Capital U is better, or small u. U to the base I. Alright? Now, 1 minute, I will write here. I need some time to draw. I've just filled some things. You see here, 1 to 1 plus C, 1 to 1 C 1 1, 1 to 2 C 1 2. Write down. Here what do I write? C 1 3. I am writing, followed by C 1 4. What is C here? C is the cost. Alright? Cost of source 1 to distributor 1, say. Similarly, in the next column, what I've left blank, I have to put C to 1, followed by C to 2, and then C to 3. Please write. I left the columns blank for that so you can follow. Next, this one will be C 3 1, followed by C 3 2, C 3 3, and C 3 4. Now, what do I call this one? See, I call this Vj. Since it is V is in the first column, V1, second column, V2, third column, V3, fourth column, V4. So here, this is Ui. Since in the first row, it will be U1, U2, U3. There's nothing here. Okay? Because we have 4 columns, we have V4. We have 3 rows, so you have only U3, U1, U2 and U3. Leave the last one blank. Everyone, I'll give you a minute to see and understand and assimilate. What I have done is, wherever there is a cost involved, I have put it as C because it's a C. So far you have been working out. So requirement is all V1, V2. If there is no fourth column, naturally it will be only V3. If there are 2 columns, only V2. If there are 5 columns, it will be V5. And U1, U2, U3. If you have one more row, it would be U4 and a further row U5, like that. Alright? Now, keep this in mind. Now, look at your problem here, what we have done. Isn't this C11, right? This is source 1, you can see, right? This is source 1, this is distributor 1. So this one would be cost 11, C11. Alright? At the end of this, you had U1. At the end of this, here you had V1. You had V1. So you can say U1 plus V1 is 14. I repeat, plus this one is C11. This is C12, C213 like that. Make this, assimilate this. This is C32, this is C33, etc. At the end here you have U1, U2, U3, and you have V1, V2, V3. If I'm going to see C33, C33 is equal to U3 plus V3. Alright? C22 would be U2 plus V2. You don't even have to go there. When you say 2, this is U2. When you say 2, this is V2. When you say this 3, 2, it is U3, this is V2. When you say 1, 3, this is U1 and V3. The first part, U1, V1, U2, V1. These are here, U2, V3, U3, V4. Alright? So when we come back to the problem, I take anything. Let's say I take this 65. 65 is 3 and 3. So C33 is equal to U3 plus V3. This is C34. It will become U3 plus V4. This is C22, U2 plus V2. This is C12, so U1 plus V2. Are you clear? I think you are very clear. Alright. Now, for the test of optimality, see, you're aware, I would like to say that in this one, you have done an allocation, right? So, you're calculating the transportation cost of S1 and D1, right? This one, there's an allocation, so I call it an occupied cell. Understand, class? Wherever there is an allocation done, it is a occupied cell. This is an unoccupied cell. This is an unoccupied cell. This one, yes, occupied cell. Unoccupied, unoccupied, occupied, occupied. Similarly, unoccupied, occupied, unoccupied, occupied. Now, when you do the test of optimality, you have to take the unoccupied cells. For the transportation cost, you're taking this one, no, transportation cost, S1 to D1. So the occupied cells you're using for transportation cost. You're using the unoccupied cells for for calculating the test of optimality. Now, class, you look at in this problem, we'll do the test of optimality. Write down test of optimality. All right. All right. What you have to do is, what you have to do is find out, for example, take you have done transport. We have not done transportation yet. We are doing here, isn't it? For the transport now, when you do the test of optimality, first of all, you have to consider the occupied cells for the purpose of doing the optimality. Transportation cost you have already done, but we will do the test of optimality like this. You see this? What is this one? U1 plus V1. Write down, everybody. U1 plus V1 is equal to 14. Right, right. U1, I'll just write. U1 plus V1 is equal to 14. What is the next one? I'll take this one. It doesn't matter how you go. This is C14. So U1 plus V4, U1 plus V4 is equal to 5. I repeat, look at this one. This would be C14, isn't it? According to what you wrote. So U1 plus V4 is equal to 5. Next occupied cell is this one. S2D3, meaning C23. I'll write here if you want. C23, and this would be C24. Let me write. Occupied cells I'll write and keep. C32, and this would be C34. Look at that. And here also I'll write. This would be C11. This would be C14. Alright? So I would, if you wish, you write like this. For all the occupied cells, before you do the test of optimality, you write the numbers. It will make you very simple and easy. This would be C11 naturally. This would be C14. This would be C23. This would be C24. Correct? And then you'll have C32 and you'll have C34. So we go like this. See, when it says 1 1, U1, V1. When it says C34, U3, V4. Alright? So no worries for you. I will go and we will write now. The first one is, first occupied cell is S1D1. That would be C11. So U1 plus V1 is equal to 14. Next you write, I'll go on the same row. It doesn't matter how you go, but better we go on the row. We are used to a particular system, isn't it? So next one is S1 to D4, that is C14. So I'll write U1 plus V4 is equal to 5. Excuse me. Next one I'm doing C23. So 23, 22, U2 plus V3 is equal to 35. The next one is C24. So U2 plus V4 is equal to 55. The next one I'm doing C32. So U3 plus V2 is equal to 3. And the last one is C34. So naturally U3 plus V4 is equal to 15. I'll just check. U1 plus V1 is equal to 14. Next I've done U1 plus V4 is equal to 5. Next U2 plus V3 is equal to 35. Next U2 plus V4 is equal to 55. Next U3 plus V2 is equal to 3. Last is U3 plus V4 is equal to 15. I'll just show you. Please see this carefully. Alright. Now class, you have to see in which equations any one variable has appeared more than once. U1 has appeared twice in the first and second equations. U2 has appeared twice and U3 has appeared twice. You can take a choice. You can take any one and assume it to be 0. You can take U1 is equal to 0 and work out. You can take U2 as 0 and work out, or U3 as 0 and work out. But we will take U1 as 0 and work out. So, class, if I assume, write down, assume U1 is equal to 0. If I assume U1 is equal to 0, U1 plus V1 is equal to 14. So V1 becomes 14. Next one, U1 plus V4 is equal to 5. U1 is 0. V4 will become 5. Correct? Alright. Now we will go for the next equation. U2 plus V3. We do not know, now we know U1, V1 and V4. We do not know U2, nor do we know V3. So we go to the next equation. Both U2 and we know V4. So we'll go for the fourth equation. U2 plus V4 is equal to 55 and get U2. U2 plus V4 is equal to 55, but we already know V4 as 5. So U2 plus 5 is equal to 55, and we get u2 is equal to 50. Alright, next we know u2, so we can take equation number 3 here. u2 plus v3 we will take. Take equation number 3. u2 plus v3 is equal to 35. u2 is already 50, so 50 plus v3 is equal to 35. v3 is equal to 35 minus 50, so v3 will become minus 15. u2 plus v3 is equal to 35. u2 is 50. 50 plus v3 is equal to 35. v3 is equal to 35 minus 50. v3 became 15. Now we know v3 as well. So which equation shall we take? Wait one second. Which equation shall we take? u1, v1 we have tackled. We know u1, we know v1, v1, v4. So we do not need the first two equations. The second equation, we know u2, we know v3. Next equation, u2 and v4. We know v4, we know u2 as well. The fifth equation, u3 plus v2. Do we know v2? Do we know u3? No, we don't. So do we know v4? Yes, we do. So we'll tackle the last equation. u3 plus v4 is equal to 15. u3 plus v4 is equal to 15. But v4 is 5. u3 plus 5 is equal to 15. u3 is equal to 15 minus 5 is equal u3 is equal to 10. u3 plus v4 is equal to 15. So since you already know v4 in the top, v4 is equal to 5 if you see. So you have u3 is equal to 10. The last thing remaining is the fifth equation, u3 plus v2. Now that we know u3, we can find v2. So do the last equation, u3 plus v2 is equal to 3. We have u3 is equal to 10. 10 plus v2 is equal to 3. v2 is equal to 3 minus 10. v2 is equal to minus 7. Okay, already. So we know all the equations, all the variables. Now class, please remember we did this because we want to know the test of optimality. Now write down, in the test of optimality, we have to calculate the net cost for non-occupied cells. Write down, we have to calculate the net cost for non-occupied cells. Non-occupied cells. Alright? I seem to have run out of paper. Once again. Let me get a sheet and excuse me. Sorry about that. So we have, so where have we reached? We'll revise. I taught you 3 methods today. What are the 3 methods I taught you? Northwest corner rule. I already taught you that yesterday. So we did one problem with the northwest corner rule. Then we did the same problem with the row minima method. We did the same problem with the column minima method. Then we did the same problem with the least cost method. Now we found that row plus column, that is 3 rows plus 4 columns, 7 minus 1 is 6. It was also equal to the number of allotments. That's why we have a problem that we call it as a non-degenerate problem. A non-degenerate problem we can have the test of optimality. Alright, so we are going for the test of optimality. Now each column I call it C1, C111, C12, etc. And I taught you how to call it the variables in the form of U and V. We have to find out the net cost change for the non-occupied cells. A non-occupied cell is one where an allotment has not been done. Wherever an allotment has been done, it is a occupied cell. When you do the test of optimality, you have to calculate the net cost change for a non-occupied cell. If when you calculate, if you get, for example, if you get any answer, when you calculate the net cost change for non-occupied cells, if you get any answer that is not positive, a negative answer, then the solution is not optimal. If all the equations land up giving you a positive answer or 0, then your solution is optimal. Now, write down test of optimality. For this one, we'll do the test of optimality. You have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns. Please write 6 columns. The first column for the test of optimality, write down test of optimality, will do for this problem. The first column you write unoccupied cells, cell. Call it unoccupied cell. Next you write C to the base ij. C to the base ij. Alright? Next you write U to the base I. Next you write V to the base j. Next you write ui plus v to the base j. I'll show you in a minute. Next you write delta ij is equal to Cij minus ui plus vj. It's not difficult, I'll just show you. 1 second. Okay, this is like this. Wait. First is unoccupied cell. Next is Cij. C is the cost that you get in that cell. Alright? What is given in the problem. Ui is what we calculate. I'll explain. Vj. Suppose C in Cij it is 23, 2, 3. U will be U2, V will be 3. That's all. Then you add the next one, then you minus. to get delta ij. Now in delta ij, if you get everything positive or 0, the solution is optimal. If you get any negative, the solution is not optimal. Simple. Alright, everybody ready? I'll give you a minute to write it, and then we will carefully do the problem. Please copy. I'll hold it for a while. I hope that's better. You can see. Six columns, the last column, rather large. Shall I go ahead? I think I should. Okay, now we have to go back to our problem. I'll take the sheet where I did the column minima. Alright? Oh wait, least cost one is better, isn't it? Row minima, column minima. Hold on a second, class. Okay, I would like you to take, you may be confused now because the allocations are in different cells, right? So take the least cost one, the last one we did. Take the least cost one. Alright, everybody? Now, in the least cost method, this is an occupied cell. Wait, this is a first unoccupied cell, right? So we'll take this one. And please, I cannot keep on showing, so watch your problem. Use the least occupied. Now, the first unoccupied cell is C11, isn't it? So we'll call it 1, like a paired cell, you write like this. 1, 1, comma, 1. Alright? Now what was the Cij there? 14. Okay? Now ui, you have calculated ui. Ui will be u1 for this one, right? Ui will be u1. Right there, u1 is equal to, what is u1? 0. Now this one is 1, 1, so vj, v1 is equal to 14. 1 minute, I'll just complete. We'll do the last one, or I'll finish it. See, the first in the least cost method, I'm taking the least cost method. What we did, take the least cost method. Unoccupied cell is 1, 1. 1 means in that cell, the cost was 14. Ui means u1. 1, 1, so 1. u1 is 0 according to what we assumed. v1 we found out as 14. So u1 plus v1 becomes 0 plus 14 is equal to 14. Cij is 14. 14 minus 14, you get 0. Now we will do the next one. The next unoccupied cell for us is, according to the row I'm going, 1, 2. So the 25 is Cij. Do with me. u1 is equal to 0. Now here we need v2, and v2 according to us is minus 7. So 0 plus of minus 7 is equal to minus 7. So last column, 25 minus of minus 7. So 25 plus 7 is equal to 32. Yeah, I'll continue. The next one is 1, 3, 45. Again, u1 is equal to 0. v3, what is v3? Is minus 15. 0 plus minus of minus 0 plus minus 15 is equal to minus 15. 45 minus of minus 15 you'll get is equal to 60. I'm showing. All right. Okay. Next one is S2 D2. So you'll get 2 comma 2. 2 comma 2 is 25. Okay. So U2, how much is U2? U2 is equal to 50. V2 is equal to minus 7. So 50 plus of minus 7 is equal to 43. So our answer is 25 minus 43 is equal to 18. Minus 18. Well, we already have one negative value, so the solution is not optimal. Let me check again. 25. U2 is 5. U2 is, sorry, U2 is 50, isn't it? U2 is 50. V2 is minus 7. So 50 plus of minus 7 is equal to 43. We got a negative. So the solution is not optimal, but I would like you to work out all of them. You have next, please go ahead and do 2, 4. Next is 2, 4, unoccupied cell. Then you have 3, 1. Yeah, that's all. 3, 1. I'd like you to do 2, 4 is 55. 3, 1 is 35. So U2 is equal to 50. U3 is equal to 10. V4 is equal to 5. V1 is equal to 14. Okay, work out. 50 plus 5 is equal to 55. So you get 55 minus 55 is equal to 0. Then here you have 10 plus 14 is equal to 24. So you have 35 minus 24 is equal to 11. I'd like to check that 2 too. 2 comma 2 is 25. U2, U2 is 50, correct? V2, V2 is minus 7, correct? So 50 minus 7 is 43. 25 minus, okay, we have one negative. I've done the entire problem. If you want, click a print screen or do it. Since we got one negative in the net cost of unoccupied cells, then the solution doesn't become optimal. Okay? You have to write in the above case the unoccupied cell 2, 2 has a delta ij value of minus 18, yeah, which is less than 0. Therefore, the solution is not optimal. Yes, class? I hope you loved the problem. I loved it too. Yeah? Operations research is such a juicy subject, isn't it? So I enjoyed doing it with you. Yeah? Thank you. Again, I want to say something. Yeah? These are really difficult times. Stay positive. Please be obedient to the rulers that be. They are making policy decisions for our good. Stay inside. Don't say, I want to go for a round and come. Alright? We'll have plenty of rounds once the. Don't do wheeling. Don't try any stunts on the road. Just stay at home. Let your bike, let your cars have rest. Please listen to me. Do not roam about on the roads. Let's break the chain. Let us show the world that India is really good at conquering coronavirus. Don't be, there are devastated families all over the world. Let's not have something like that here. It's very sad. We pray for all those who lost their lives. We pray for those who are suffering and we pray for their speedy recovery. We pray for all the people, medical, paramedical, and others, law and order people who are working so hard. Yeah, and we pray for strength for their families to allow them to work for against this virus. Stay at home. Smile once again. Be positive. I'll see you tomorrow at 10. Please don't message me what time tomorrow, ma'am. I'm coming at the same time. Unless if I have a problem, which I shouldn't be, I will tell you on the official message. Don't be silly and ask me again and again what time, ma'am. Same time tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 11 for the seniors and 11 onwards for the juniors. I'll take international business at 10 and 11. I'm coming on for operations research. Bye, class. Stay happy, stay positive. God bless you.